What's going on, Chizzity, Chattity, Wettity? It's your host, Dr. Chiefess Sunflower. Welcome back to another live. And as you can see from the title, we talking about Supreme YT, failure. All right. Come in the room. Let me know how your day been. For me, it's been a pretty long ass day. Pretty long day. But we are back in the building. This gonna be a chill live. Y'all come in and drop some. Oh man. Hold on, y'all. Nobody in here yet. Anyways. Hold on. Come in the room, tap those hearts. It is my Friday, Junior, really my Friday, and I thought about not coming live tonight, but y'all know with consistency, you just have to just keep pushing through. Today was one of those days where I just felt a little overwhelmed. I felt a little exhausted, but that's the thing about being consistent is you just have to keep showing up. If you show up, then things change. I'm back, y'all. But if you show up, things can work in your favor. Now, if y'all just joined in the room, welcome to the building. We've been to dive on in. Today we're talking about Supreme YT failure. Because, listen, colonization didn't fucking work. I mean, let me rephrase that. It kind of worked, but it didn't last. You know how they say, make it last forever and ever. It didn't last forever. So we just gonna freestyle today. Oh, I'm loud about everything. I hate resetting my computer. Jeez. I just hate it. Maybe I'm just irritated. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. 726 3. Let's close some of this stuff out. Hope I didn't need none of that stuff. Oh, wait. Oh. Hopefully I didn't need none of that stuff. Wait a minute. Am I right? Something's not right. Something's not right. Okay, I know I'm not really on point right now. Y'all come in the room, talk to me, cause really, I don't feel like talking right now. That's the bad time to go live when you don't feel like talking. But because I'm on this whole consistency challenge, I still have to show up and really try to push through. Because, sometimes you just don't feel like pushing through. So I'm pushing through for all of us who just, So we're going to play our song first. And then we're going to get into the topic at hand. And while the song is playing, come in the room, tap those hearts, and we about to have a little chat. Dr. Sean. Yeah. Dr. Sean is always there. Come hang with the tribe. Good vibes. Yeah, we rise every time. Yeah. History talking.
Wisdom revived. This ain't just a lie. This is life. Yes, Lord. I feel it. Talk to him. All the way live. Hang with the tribe. Hood to hoodie. We survive. We survive. Yeah.
Cause we are
All the way live. Hang with the tribe.
Hang with the tribe.
Hood to hoodie. We survive.
Yeah.
Always live. Try.
Try.
We ride.
We ride.
Try.
Try.
Yeah. Keep it going. Don't stop.
Alrighty. So let's move y'all up here, TikTok.
Yeah.
Alrighty, 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 alrighty. So today we are talking about they tried to kill the spirit, and you know supreme YT failure. What do I mean by that? Because we live in a society. Well, first of all, my name is Dr. Chief the Sunflower, aka Dr. Sean, the motivational dentist, and my girlfriend sitting in her car and she's trying to wait until Friday. What do you mean she's trying to wait until Friday? What's she trying to wait until Friday to do when she doesn't have to? I told her I'll buy it. What? I'm so lost. Did I miss something? You gonna buy what? I know you trying to set me up. The mic. What mic? I'm so confused. You got me so confused, suspect man. Your name even suspect. You got me confused as hell because you just popped me in and started talking about, what are you talking about, bro? Hold on. Thank you, Lost One. I love that name, Lost One. I love it. Boy, y'all be saying some crazy stuff. But anyways, back to the topic at hand, okay? So, welcome to the Hood to Hooded podcast. This podcast is about positivity, inspiration, and to keep you motivated and growing. My girlfriend wants to buy the mic you're promoting, but she know we can't afford it. My truck in the shop. Oh man, well, you know, those mics are going to be there for a little minute. You can use Klarna, you can use any of those little things to, you know, pay for it. But those mics are really, really helpful when you're streaming to help you make more money. So it's an investment. So she might be like, hey, you going to invest? But I get it. But I love the mics. I love everything I have tagged on my TikTok shop. I'm actually using my new eMeet webcam that I got from TikTok. The quality is pretty good. Let me show y'all on TikTok the quality of my little eMeet camera. Let's turn y'all around so y'all can see. You see that quality from the eMeet? I mean, it's a little blurry with the with this camera. Let me see. Maybe my lens is a little dirty. You can kind of see it a little bit, but yeah. Alright. But anywho, back to the topic at hand, y'all. We're talking about how YT supremacy was set up for us to fail, but they actually gonna fail. You know, they gonna actually fail because you try to... No, that's perfect. You guys try to build a government. You guys try to build a colonization organization around the whole world using Christianity, the secret weapon. They tried to use Christianity and play on people's spirit and kill their spirit while claiming to deliver their spirit. That's what colonizers try to do. And they do that shit very well. I gotta give it to you. You do supreme shit when it comes to being hateful and being evil and making up laws for other people and calling other people immigrants when you guys are the biggest immigrants. Now, that is no question about it. Now, I just want to talk about this thesis that we're proving tonight. The thesis that we're proving tonight is that white supremacy failed because it can control paper. It can control laws and names and borders, but it cannot control our fucking spirit, boy. When I tell y'all we got some of the best, the greatest, the biggest ancestors on the planet. They so big, they tried to hide them, erase them. They like, oh, we just got to erase them because it's too many. We just going to have to erase them and just everybody pray that they don't wake up. Well, I'm here to bust your fucking bubble. The Niji back. The Niji back. And we ain't come to play no games. And I'm going to tell you why we didn't come to play no games. I'm going to tell you why we not allowing YT supremacy, Native American, whatever they supposed to be, to speak for us. Because y'all been doing all the talking and the writing and the genociding and the demociding and the homiciding, and you act like you ain't been doing nothing. You want to turn around and call people savages and all this stuff. But when we go back in history, we like, well, damn. The savages, the immigrants, calling other people that because they try to trick you out your spot. Praise y'all. Much love and respect to you and your viewers. Thank you, Yehuda. I hope I said that right. I know that's right. Much love and respect. So, this is not a colonizer. This is not a YT hate train. This is not what this is. This is to let y'all know and put y'all on notice that the Niji woke up and it is no stopping us now. Ain't no stopping us now. Yeah. It's no stopping us now. That's why I understand what they meant when they said knowledge is the power. See, before y'all made laws and try to ban shit and ban reading and ban literacy and ban gathering and ban. Since y'all learned how to use a pen and paper, you thought that the fucking pen and paper was for you to try to control other people. And see, that's number one mistake right there. Pen and paper was made to create. It was made to invent. It was made to, write down and document truth. Not try to cover up the truth with something that you wrote and lie. That's not what it was made for. And we all having a grand awakening right now because, see, the way Supreme YT failure happened is because those ancestors that were immigrants, the so-called European Caucasian, the so-called immigrants who are controlling the country now, they thought that they could literally do raiding and patrolling and erasing, all these things, and it would last forever. I think they must have thought they was Keith Sweat or something. They thought they was Keith Sweat or something. Right? Somebody named Liar said beeswax. What you mean by that? Beeswax. Y'all be throwing me off with the comments. Beeswax? I'm a little lost. I'm a little lost. I'm tired as hell too. Listen, I worked today with no breakfast, no lunch, and I haven't even ate dinner yet. But I am drinking some lemonade. This is the life of an entrepreneur that people love to glamorize, but listen, it's not for the weak. It's not for the weak. Anywho, let me ask you guys a question. If we were supposed to disappear, why are we still here? If y'all so-called erased us all, why would y'all try to erase people that you say you brought? You brought millions over here just to erase them. The lies don't be, and you brought millions over here in 100 years, but none of them speak, have any it just be too many fucking lies. And that's the YT supreme failure. When you started lying on paper, the thing about history is always meant to tell a story about truth. And I have an issue with colonization because they messed up the worldwide natural order of humanity. They messed up the worldwide natural order of all of the melanated beings across the planet. When I tell you in 313 CE, that Constantine over there in, what was that, Rome or some shit? Constantine, he legalized Christianity in 313 CE. And at that time, they only had control of about 20% of the earth. Only 20% over there where they colonized Rome. They unalived those Roman people. They did all of that. They started with the evil mindset all the way back then before you and I were ever thought about. That evil mindset, those evil seeds was planted by those pretend Romans. And then they passed this on to the Pope, to the Catholic Church. And the Catholic Church popes had this grand idea that, hey, we're going to lie and say that if you don't convert to Christianity like Constantine legalized it, because at first it was illegal, then it became legal, and then the Pope started saying, okay, well, since it's legal now, we could just control the whole earth by just saying, you know, God told us to unalive y'all. Because if you don't believe in us and you don't follow our way, you know, God blessed us to take you out of here. Now, I don't know what they was on back then, drinking too much alcohol or doing too much. I don't know what they was on back then, but this was some beast DNA mindset. To think that you can control the whole earth. And y'all actually tried to do it. They have colonized 90% of the world. 90%, almost 100% of the world has been colonized by the Catholic Church and Christianity in the name of their Lord. I didn't say my Lord, I said their Lord. Why? If you ever look at any of the documents from the Pope from the 300 CE, see, I gotta go back. I have to take it back because a lot of people be like, we was, you know, slavery. Listen, y'all a little too late to be talking about slavery because guess what? Florida didn't even, you know, Florida was such a hard place to control those Seminoles and those Muskogeans and those melanated true Amerindians. They was the hardest to control. That's why Florida had to have military presence all the way up into the 1800s. I'm trying to figure out why y'all got military presence and all of this if you so-called bringing people here in shackles. If they in shackles, how they get out of the shackles in a couple months and owning land and they became farmers? I'm so lost. So, see, this is where the lie has to go back. So that's why I go back to Constantine. I want to know who was the real motherfucker who got these people thinking that it's okay to steal land that they call seizing land from non-Christian white people. I don't know what that's about. It was very, very evil. And I'm so happy that the system is crumbling down. Now, I don't know if it's going to completely crumble down in my lifetime, but I hope it do. I hope I get to see this, you know, white supremacy crumble down from all of the lies, from all of the atrocities, from all of the evil. Like, and if you stand for this system, you obviously stand for evil. And that's what we're against, the system of evil. It doesn't matter who you are. The system is evil. And my ancestors' blood and DNA run through my veins. So I feel like I got a license to talk about it. I feel like I got a mind, the energy, the knowledge. I can read, I can write. There is no literacy ban on my life. Y'all thought that y'all could ban literacy, ban reading, ban writing, ban gathering in hopes back then that they wouldn't read what you wrote. Never thinking that my ancestors would invent things like the internet. For this exact reason. And even though they try to control the internet, they try to control this app, control that app, control this, control that, control, let's censor this, let's stuff the app. You can try to do every damn thing you want. But the Neji have awakened. They awaken. Ain't nothing you can do, no law you can ever make again to try to break our spirit. It is a must that we tell our children. And I just learned something, you know, today that pissed me off again. I'm not ready to teach it yet because I have a video that I would like to show you guys probably in the morning, and we're going to dive deep into this educational system because it really pissed me off. I learned somebody's name that was new that I hadn't heard before, and I'm going to go dig into his ass because, yeah, you don't be putting our kids to no K through 12 trying to break their spirit, trying to turn them into workers and slaves and all. You don't do that. Y'all tried it. Y'all trying it. Y'all trying it. It ain't going to last forever. So, you know, if the plan was to break our spirit, why do we still sing, build, love, create, pray, rise, and remember who we are? Obviously, it didn't break. They tried to kill our spirit, and the fact that you're watching me right now is proof that it didn't work. I came from the hood. I'm a descendant of the southeastern Mississippian mound builders that they try to erase. I am a descendant of the Niji, the American Indian, the true melanated, autochthonous, melanated Indians from a place they now call the Sunshine State, where you need a high level of melanin to be in that mother. That's why you go to Florida now. Them Indians ain't never left. They was erased on paper. They be like, oh, millions of them left. No, you mean millions of them got erased on paper and changed to black and forced to go to church and forced to go to K through 12 schools so you can. And then they said they was banning certain things about the Constitution and law in the melanated schools because they didn't want them to learn. It sounds like the same thing y'all do right now. Y'all don't teach financial literacy, even though financial literacy is the first thing you need to go out here and survive in this dirty ass world. But they won't teach your kids that. Out of all the K through 12, they never talk about the damn money that they use to make them go to work and make. They just want to get them a whole bunch of hard classes so they can weed them out and make them fail. And, you know, the same way the school to prison pipeline is a real thing. It is a real thing to break young men's spirit, give them charges so they have no chance, and they don't even believe in themselves after that. Men or women, they don't believe in themselves after that. After you get a charge or a felony in it, it's like, oh, you got one felony, you can't get a job, you can't even get your life on track after that. You have to become an entrepreneur. But let me tell you, this is not by default. This is by design. That's why America has the #1 incarceration rate in the world, but they don't have the highest population in the world. And who you think those people that they KID napping and incarcerating? It's us. It's the Indian. They just made it a law where they can call it where you're not a POW, you actually just broke a law for reading or some shit. Fuck out of here, man. Okay, so tonight we're going to do a brief timeline from the ancient empires to Constantine, to the popes, to the papal bulls, to the global colonization, to slave patrols, slave raiding, naturalization act, and a list of bans. And then we're going to twist to the grand awakening of the American Indian, when people start seeing the blueprint. So make sure y'all hit that share button, that follow button, because somebody need their spine back. Okay? Because I know they tried to kill our spirit. Christopher Columbus said that we was going to be easy like some 304s. I will never forget that. I'm going to tell y'all every time I go, he said we were going to be easy like 304. He said, oh, they're going to be easy to break their spirit. And the moment I read that, I was like, this. I say, I can't believe you wrote that about us. You really thought wrong, bro. If I could slap Christopher Columbus right into 2026, listen, he just better be happy he's not in 2026. Okay? What white supremacy is, nice drink, is a system, not just a feeling. It is a system. When people say that white supremacy, it's a system, like it's a system that has been around for couple centuries. All right, white supremacy, I keep saying it, but I know they're gonna shadow ban me, so make sure y'all share this, because I have I'm trying to follow the guidelines for not being shadow banned, but it's only so much guidelines you can follow on this bitch. You know what I'm saying? It's only so much you can try not to, it is what it is, whatever. Anywho, like I said, YT supremacy isn't just one mean person. We're not talking about you personally. If you taking this personally, then you got to stroll. Because you're not emotionally intelligent. You don't understand what YT supremacy system has fucking done to a whole nation of indigenous sovereign people. You don't understand what that means. You don't understand how the YT supremacy system has reclassified the real sovereign people and gave their label to a fake people who use our sovereignty. Right? It's a machine that runs on classification. The caste system. I'm native, I understand completely. It's a system that runs on classification. Who counts as human? So they saying God told them to tell them who counts as human. And they gonna make the people who got melanin not count as human. Fuck out of here, man. If anything, the melanin makes us way more indigenous. But you know, you'll find that in what my homegirl called, she said MAGA hell. You know, you'll find that anything that's right, they're going to make it wrong. Anything that's wrong, they're going to give it to you because they don't want you to have nothing that's right. You got to think about it now. You coming from a system where they didn't even want you to read. Like, just understand that. Just understand that. Right? Control. Who gets rights? YT supremacy control who gets rights, such as the 1790 Naturalization Act, when they started their fake government called the United States, and they had the first president, George Washington. They say, hey, even though we're immigrants, we came on the boat from Ellis Island, we're the first ones to get rights on this land where we see all these sovereign melanated people. We're going to give ourselves rights first. And if you're not a white Christian prince and you don't believe in Christianity and you ain't an immigrant like us, we don't even see you on this land. I see you, Lonely Dove. I see you with the... What that mean? Put it in the comments. Let me know how you feel. Because I can prove everything I'm saying. Let me know how you feel. Extraction. They get to pick who gets extracted, who gets drained, right? Just like they're doing with ICE now. They get to see who gonna stay, who gonna go, but guess who can't be touched? Merry Indians. We can't be touched. We can't be touched. Just know that. We can't be touched. You can lie, but you can't touch us. My people still got land right now that you can't touch. Or you was thinking on what I was saying. I was like, you know, these emojis is like, hey, let me know. Join the conversation. Y'all put y'all thoughts in the chat. You know. Erasure. They get to decide who gets renamed, who gets rewritten, and who gets erased. Now, these are immigrants making this decision now. They come up to a land that they don't know nothing about. They learn how to use a pen and paper and think that this pen and paper is for them to lie and say God told them to steal somebody's land because they blessed for them. You know what I'm saying? They just lied. It's a system built on 100% lie. Now, if a YT supremacy person said it, it's probably 100% lie. That's how I see it. After I have been reading for the past 2 years about what YT ancestors did, it's nothing I can trust anymore. You can say, well, I don't trust you no more. The trust has been broken, bro. The trust isn't there. I don't care nothing about what Trump doing, I don't care about none of y'all saying, oh, vote the red and the blue. Listen, when I realized that about 13 of y'all presidents enslaved people, I knew that the system was full of BS then. There's no way I can feed into that. Yes, I think the same. There's no way I can feed into that. And the main thing that they run on is a machine that runs on fear. To keep people obedient. Now that's where the Christianity comes in. Because they got to settle your spirit down. Make you think that, oh, I'm going to trade in this for my sovereignty. They force people to go to Sunday school. They're the ones who started Sunday school. It's a mission to control. Facts. They're the ones who force our melanated kids to go through K through 12. They're the ones who force our ancestors, when they came on this land and they was on their own property, they forced them to have freedom paperwork that they would get from, they're supposed to get from the immigrant court. Now they're the ones who forced our ancestors to have documents to prove that they had a job. And if you didn't have a job, guess what? That was illegal. So it's illegal for you to read. It's illegal for you to write. It's illegal for you to have a job that you can read and write. It's illegal for you to be in your tribe. It's illegal for you not to go to church. All of these things that they made illegal doesn't make any sense. Okay? And when the machine of YT supremacy shows up, it always brings the same tools. I always looked at it as a beast looking for his prey. Facts. Let's tell the truth, because a lot of people don't like the truth. They like to live in a lie. They like to, they like to, let the colonizer tell them what it is. And I can't do that no more. I spent 30 plus years, in this colonized mindset, in the matrix, believing something that was a complete fucking lie. And I kept hearing it. And I'm the type of person who like, okay, what? I don't believe that. Let me go look it up so I can prove you wrong. And then you go look something up and you like, oh, damn, I've been bamboozled. I will never forget the day I felt like I've been bamboozled. I cried because I didn't understand how deep this hate goes for the sovereign people here, because it goes so deep that it's like, oh, we're just gonna erase you. Imagine somebody just erasing you. I don't think y'all get it. So this is a machine that has the same tools. So remember, I told you guys, it went from them controlling the Vatican, controlling 20% of the earth, to now they control 90% of the earth. And they did this with the same tools everywhere they went. So you see, America is the same when they went to South America. It's the same when they was in Africa. It's the same when they was in Europe. They colonized 90% of the earth. It is literally a system built up on control. Facts. It's just about control. Christianity was used to control us. Go look it up. Why would Constantine need to make Christianity legal? You know what I mean? It just don't make no sense what I be reading. So they use religious authority. They use legal authority and violence backed by money to make us believe that we're something that we're not. They didn't just colonize the land. They tried to colonize our memory. Just like they tried to colonize these apps. I call it digital colonization. It's going on right now. You say anything about who you are, then it's, oh, no. But if they say hateful, evil things and it's hyped up, then it's like, okay, well, we can allow this. We can do this. Or if you know you're a melanated creator, they going to shadow ban you and all this BS. It's just sad, especially on TikTok. TikTok has changed. What up? Thank you for liking the live. So let's go before the modern era. Empires mastered a pattern. They would conquer a territory, take the resources, rewrite the people's identity, force them to work, and control the story. So the blueprint didn't start with 1492 when Christopher Columbus, old bitch ass, showed up in the West Indies trying to run the modern version got supercharged later with religion and law as weapons. Religion and law as their weapons. Empires always need a reason to steal. Okay, that's where the divine permission enters the chat. So they will use the church and say, like Christopher Columbus, if you ever go read his journal, he was heavy into Christianity. He was like, oh, this is the year of our Lord, and God told me that these indigenous people are going to be easy to manipulate. We're going to get them Bibles. He was putting up crosses. I'm just like, what the fuck? This man is crazy. Oh, take those men and women over there. Take those children. He was collecting people like they was trophies. And I'm like, what the hell? It's just something you can't unsee. Like, it's just something I would never unsee. You can't ever make me unsee what I read about this man and about all of the people who were just like him. So before him, there was Constantine. And you guys hear me talk a lot about Constantine from the 4th century. So the 4th century is the 300s, right? And he was all about faith and merging the state together. So this is where they get the state mindset from. You got Florida state, Georgia state. All of these states came from the colonizers. All the way back in the 4th century. And they found a way to control the people by using religion. So in the 4th century, he said, let me fuse this so we can control the people. Because you got to think, when you go to church, I grew up in the church, so you can't tell me nothing about the church. I grew up in the church. When you go to the church, you got the person at the front, the bishop, the priest, the pope, whatever religious domination you're in, they go to the front and they gonna preach the Bible. So what he realizes is that, okay, we're gonna use this and preach our dirty message. We're gonna use this and tell all these people that if you're not white Christian Prince, then you're a nobody. We're gonna use this to tell all the white people in this building that, hey, we gotta go and seize land, because if these people don't bow down and become Christians like we told them, we get to seize their land because God said so. We get to take them out of here because God said so. They were saying all kind of things they get to do to you. If you were sovereign, if you were indigenous, they said we cannot have nobody indigenous and sovereign. They must become what? Christians. That's why you'll always have the colonizer bringing the Bible to a non-Christian land, such as to America, such as South America. And then you have all the indigenous people turning into what? Christians. The blueprint is right there. Right? So when political power merges with spiritual authority, you don't just have soldiers, you have certainty. Because you fusing political power with spiritual authority and saying the Spirit told me that I can have this political power, and if you don't bow to my political power, then the Spirit told me to take you out of here. Once they merge, you can't be safe from one another. Facts. And they realize this. And the thing about this is why they had the Bible in school. They had Christianity in school because they was doing corporal punishment. They was whooping the kids in school. They was doing all of this to the melanated kids in school, suspending them, making them fail, like forcing them to learn. So when you hear kill the Indian, save the man, that's what they're talking about. Killing the Indian. I shouldn't have used that word, but unaliving or making the man, the child, go to work. Making you set up to go to work, right? And it's certainly a danger when God is on our side, so anything we do is justified. This is just how they feel. When they came over here to America and they were colonizing us, going to war, they were going to church afterwards. They had them people who they had to kidnapped under the church, shackled up, while they was talking about things for this to unalive these people. I will never forget that. Right? They felt like anything they did was right because they had the Bible that they create. Constantine, they put the Bible together. It said that he got books and stuff from Ethiopia, from anything around that area, and he put a bunch of books together so that he could have a doctrine that would be present anywhere on earth. And I gotta say, if you colonize 90% of the earth, it's fair to say your doctrine seems like it pretty much fucking worked because everybody following it, ain't it? Right? Look at the judge. That very book says they're going to hell, but they make you swear on it. Listen. And then when they came to the West Indies, when they came here to America, they translated the Bible. King James, he took the word slave out. It might have been another translation for it, but I looked it up and it was in there it was like 100 something times. They took it out and put it as servant. So when you over here and you're reading the Bible and you're reading the word servant, that word used to say slave. So they made it just, the more I learn, the more pissed off I kind of get, but the more happier I am that my mind has woken up. I'm so happy that I don't have this little docile mind and I'm not like no mental 304 like Christopher Columbus said. Oh, they gonna be easy. I would know if they gonna be easy to convert and make Christian. They gonna be easy to get a Bible. They so dumb. They so docile. They don't know nothing about murder. They don't know nothing about that. He was like, we gonna be easy. And I be damn, a lot of y'all easy. When it come to thinking at a higher level, so many people easy because they done put you to the K through 12. They done taught you that they're founding forefathers are great people when these people had our people enslaved while they was making laws about equality. How the fuck? Equality where? It ain't no equality in this government when 13 of y'all had this same mindset. Look out of here, man. So, we have and once a system believes it has divine power and divine approval to do hateful, heinous crimes, it stops asking if it's wrong. It only asks, hey, is this profitable? Because God told me that it's okay for me to do this, but is it profitable? So once they say, okay, we cleared our spirit with God, because they're not Christian, they're indigenous. So hey, I don't know what they were smoking. My grandfather called it kangaroo court. Listen, when religion and empire merge, conquest gets a halo. The conquistadors, the pilgrims, they have on a little halo because they feel like, okay, we're better. We done wrote all this fake stuff down. We feel so much better. They felt better. Like, what? Now we go to the popes and the papal bulls. This was spiritual paperwork for domination. Now we enter the era of papal decrees and bulls. If you've never heard of the papal bull, I need you to go look it up. What is a papal bull? Basically, that was spiritual paperwork used to authorize their conquest. This is coming from the popes, who y'all now call bishops. They were sending out spiritual paperwork and decrees that basically said, declare non-Christians as less than. So if you was non-Christian, you were less than. Which is why a lot of our ancestors had to convert, because they were being threatened unalive. It was banned to be who you truly was. So when people be like, well, what y'all, listen, do you understand that things was banned and they was KID napping and doing all kind of crazy stuff, like dealing with animal mentality? It's all correct in one way or another. Okay? Let my battery down again on y'all TikTok. Remind me to check my battery TikTok, because if the phone just blank out, I didn't turn it off. It just died. It's on like 19%. So, alright. So, with these decrees, these spiritual paperworks from the Pope that they had in the 4th, 3rd, and 4th, and 5th century. This is way before Columbus. It gave them permission to authorize the seizure of land. It gave them permission to declare that all non-humans were less than they were. It gave them permission to approve forced conversion and to justify slavery and extracting people from their land. So it's not just swords, it was stamps. Y'all gotta understand, this came from the Vatican. This came from the Catholic Church. This came from people who was carrying the Bible and passing out the Bible like some dang on chewing gum. Because they were saying, if you're a non-Christian, you less than. And they was converting people by force. So if you a Christian right now, you got to think, did you come that way by force? Or did you become that way by choice? And I'm talking about going back to our ancestors. And see, the thing about me is I trace my ancestors to the 1700s. And I could probably go further, but they have a lot of that information blocked off. And all of my ancestors, it don't matter if I'm on my mama's side or my daddy's side, they American Indian. They not from no Africa. You can imagine my surprise. Right? So, just like a dentist with a mirror, they were only taking land. I mean, they weren't only taking land. They were taking our legitimacy. They were taking our sovereignty. Because if you can convince the world that you're not fully human, then they can do nothing to you and call it law. Then what is that? You come over to a place where you're an immigrant. Even now, ICE, that's immigrants trying to evict other immigrants on sovereign people land. The whole time y'all ignoring the sovereign people, still trying to act like y'all got some type of spiritual control. It's sad. Then comes the global ways, the Americas, the Caribbeans, Africa, Asia, the Pacific. Different flags played by the same book. They're going to arrive on the land. They're going to make a map of the land, rename it, missionize the people, turn them into Christians, extract the people. They're going to definitely take out the chief. Because once the chief is gone, the tail follow. If they take out the chief, the leader, which is who they always search for. You go back and read these journals, they're always like, where's the cacique? Where's the chief? Where's your king? They always be like that because they want to know and map it out, and they'll go the day before or the week of, and they'll act like they all good. They'll hand them the Bibles, and then they'll start plotting and writing, and then when you go to sleep, that's what they do. They come back and they raid the place. They punish resistance. They import or force labor, and they write laws so that theft looks official. And that's the problem that I have with it, and that's why Supreme YT has failed. Because y'all wrote laws that look official when it was really laws to make theft, democide, homicide, and genocide official, where people couldn't even do it back to you. You think this is gonna last? I think not. I really think not. So this wasn't confusion. This was planning. Colonization doesn't steal your land. It steals your future, because land is economics. They took the land, gave us cotton money, which already grew on our land for free. We could go get cotton. This is cotton. Money is cotton. We wear cotton. Cotton is a plant that naturally grows. Do you know that cotton is so cheap that they can print, is it $80,000 with just like half a penny worth of cotton? But you, in your mind, you thinking this paper cotton is worth something because it got an ink on it and it got these evil ass enslavers on it. You think it's worth something because they told you it was worth something. But when I actually broke down the price that it takes to print money, just looking at the cotton, $1 bill, a $20 bill, any bill you have is worth less than half a penny worth of cotton. I know that's gonna go over some people's head, but somebody gonna listen and be like, damn, I never thought about that. Yeah. So, yeah. Slave patrols and slave raids. These were domestic terrorisms turned into policy. They turned the slave raiders and the slave patrols into patrols, and they turned this terrorism into policy. They were doing night trolling and breaking up people in groups, and they could come over and whoop you, and if you had a book, they can whoop you, and they could unalive you for reading. They could cut your finger. I mean, it was just crazy. They got the same amount in $1 bill, then they doing in a $100 bill. Facts. That's my point exactly, and it's worth half a cent. It took them half of a penny to make a $100 bill. I did the math. I said, how much is a bushel of cotton is what they call it. And I said, how much money can you make from a bushel of cotton? I think that's what I did. And then it said, if you're going to make $100 bills, you can make more. But if you're going to make dollar bills, you're going to make less. But it was still like, if you make one bushel of cotton into $100 bills is like $70,000, $80,000. And the bushel of cotton costs like, was it $5 or something? I'm just like, this can't be real. They got us working out here, turning us from 12 years a slave to working for cotton, taking our land. Now people don't even want land. They just work themselves to death. Literally, right? So back to these slave raids and slave patrols and the domestic terrorism that still exists today, because a lot of our young men, they gonna get locked up because that's how the system works. They want your kids to go to school. They don't want them to be in advanced classes. They want them to be in trouble. That's why they start expelling them, sending them to detention. See, the melanated kids get expelled in detention way more at a higher rate. And a lot of people don't know that. They just think, oh, my kid bad. And back then, they could spank your kid. My grandma used to tell me about them having paddles and the Bibles in school. And I never understood what she said, but I'm happy I listened. Because now it hit me. Oh, my God. They was actually assimilating my grandparents. They had them reading the Bible in school. And they was paddling them for being disobedient. Making them go to work. And made them only get jobs that were very manual labor, like nursing and cooking and jobs where you didn't really have to read for it. They did that. And then my dad's generation, he told me they had them watching Roots in school, and they would fight after school because it was like, what the heck, they was trying to assimilate them in school. Imagine them showing your kids Roots in school now, talking about, hey, this is you, And then they got all the YT kids laughing, but that's so derogatory. But my dad didn't even understand what he had told me. Like, Damn, they really was doing that because he didn't watch it at home. Yeah, I got my ass beat a lot. Dang. In school? Come on now. Lovely, lonely dove. Is that your real picture? Anywho, these patrols that they had, the slave raids, that was in the 1600s. The slave patrols that started 1704. These patrols hunted runaways, intimidated communities, enforced curfews. They had curfews. You had to be in the house, or the slave patrol was gonna take you to jail for being outside at 10 o'clock at night. Like, who told them to control time? You get what I'm saying? It was things that they was trying to control that they had. They know no dang on spiritual entity told them to do that. They were just lying. And a lot of people just fall for the lies. They still go, well, they had it on the news. That make it right? Like, what? They taught it in school. Do you think that make it right? Come on, man. Do your own research. Alright, so what else did they do? They punished gatherings. So if you was having a cookout back then, they gonna punish you, lock you up, all of that. You couldn't party with your friends. Imagine you can't party with your friends. Are you gonna go to jail? You get what I'm saying? Like, boy, what is wrong with y'all? They created a culture of surveillance. So if you go to the South now, you'll see a lot of po-po. That ain't by accident. When I remind you guys that Florida is unconquered, they had 3 Seminole Wars. And guess what? They had 3 Seminole Wars. And guess what? It had to be occupied by Andrew Jackson and the United States military for them to conquer us. I don't think that's conquer. I think that's still terror. So when you go down there and they turn Florida State from a military school where it was mandatory that you go to the military school, and then when it was slave raiding going on, it was mandatory that all white men become slave raiders. I'm like, what? They had to. Like, if you didn't have no political job and you was just there, you had to become someone who haunted and terrorized melanated people. So it's not hard to see that the fabric of white supremacy is all about hate. It's all about evil. It's all about being against someone. It's all about passing laws that, so evil that I know one of your evil gods told you to do it. It had to come from your evil god, right? And here's the part people don't want to say. A lot of modern policing practices and surveillance culture have roots in these slave raiding, slave patrol systems. It's the same system. It said the school I come from, every teacher had a paddle. So right be in by the time of the street lights. Dang, how old are you? A lot of them are corrupt cops. Yeah, a lot of them are corrupt cops. And that don't mean it doesn't go by color. You've seen cops who are corrupt, who are what we call, I'm gonna leave that alone. But it's a lot of corrupt cops. I didn't say all cops are corrupt. Now, somebody who got family in the law enforcement, wait, don't talk. Listen, the system corrupt as fuck. Regardless if you have a good cop in the system, 99.9% of the cops in the system are corrupt. The other 1%, it's kind of like being a dentist. It's only 1% that get in. It's only 1% of good cops get in. Because if you a good cop, how they going to do their dirty work when you being a good cop? You know what I'm saying? The whole system is corrupt. It was started from slave raiding. It was started from slave patrol. So how can it be turned into something good now when the whole system was started from surveillancing us? That's why we get locked up. That's why we get stopped. That's why we get profile. Racial profile came from, slave raiding. Because that was their job, to find and harass us. It never changed. Now, if you white too, you might be like, well, no, they're not that bad because it was never meant for you. It was never meant for you. A lot of y'all get stopped and, oh, go on, I won't write your ticket. But us, they're going to try to make up a ticket, make up a lie, plant something, do this, beat you up, lie, hide the camera, do this, break the window. It's always some extra shit. You think this system good? Fuck out of here. This is why some of us feel so nervous and our nervous systems tighten around authority. That tension is an ancestral memory. Look on YouTube. Crap cops, there's a lot there. Corrupt cops. A lot on YouTube. Somebody said something else. A lot of corrupt cops on YouTube. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. But they, the whole system is corrupt to me. It's kind of like the government. Anytime I can go back in time and see the origins of a system, and that origin has something to do with harassing melanated, autochthonous Amerindians, I got a problem with it. And I'm not going to be like, okay, well, that was 300 years when they started the system, but it should be good by now. I'm not going to do that. I see the whole thing as, you know what? You got to go, bro. What about the Naturalization Act? This was deciding who gets to be a person. The immigrants came over here. They started stealing the land. They started learning how to write and stealing our government and had John Hanson in there writing all the rules. And then once it was done, they said, okay, bye. We don't need you. We just use you, but we don't need you. Then you get the legal phase where the state decides who counts as a real person and who doesn't. Now, the naturalization laws in the early U.S. history made citizenship ties to whiteness, meaning the legal system was building a caste ladder. So the first time they made the Naturalization Act in the 1790s, they said only white people were citizens. If you were an immigrant, you came off the boat, you from Ellis Island, all of this stuff, you came whatever, you were the citizen. If you were already here, they said, oh, we're not going to even count you. You're not going to be included. Then they realized, oh, it's too many of them not to count. We have to try to control them. So let's just put them as Negro, black. Hey, we don't have to tell them they tribe. You go up to them. They got the pen. What is your... They just see your color. They're going to write you down as Negro. You say, hey, I'm Choctaw. They're going to write you down as Negro. Back then. Right? So naturalization laws in early history were the start of this pseudo-government. When a country writes personhood with a racial pen, that's not freedom. That's a gated community called a nation. Okay? They didn't just try to control our land. They tried to control our whole being. Like, you had to have... Do y'all understand? You had to have travel paperwork. You couldn't travel on your own free will. You couldn't get together with your family. They were starting to ban you getting in groups with your family. They started to ban you having a book. They just started to ban you. You might well, if they could ban you breathing, trust me, they would. They would. They could say, hey, it's a ban on them breathing, only give them a little oxygen so they almost about to be out of here. They would. So now we're going to talk about the ban list. The ban list controls always look like protection. In their eyes, they feel like God told them to ban you from having a life that you had before they came because, God told them to do it, right? So whenever a system fears your spirit, it bans your tools. Now, here's a ban list since colonization, right? So we're going to read all the things that they ban, and then we're going to get out of here and let y'all know that we waking up. Now, you can't ban my mind no more. They didn't ban the Bible. Oh, we know that much. I wonder why they didn't ban the Bible. They gave you the Bible, bruh. This is my whole point exactly. They didn't ban the Bible. They banned reading, but they didn't ban you reading that Bible. Does it make sense now? They're going to ban everything and give you that. Hey, it's a point of control. They banned everything but the Bible. And then you had to go to church, and then you had to have a slave patrol there while you was in church to make sure you weren't trying to revolt. Yeah. Yeah. You tired of something that really ain't... Listen, let's go back to our ban list, guys. Let's just go back to the ban list. So, they put a ban on knowledge. Yeah. They put a ban on knowledge. So, me being a doctor back then when they had all this stuff going on, they would have told me, no, you're first of all melanated, you can't be a doctor. Second of all, you're a woman, you don't have a brain. Third of all, You're sovereign, you're indigenous. Well, you're not a Christian. Oh, the Pope told me you don't matter. I can do anything I want to you. So they banned knowledge. They put a ban on teaching enslaved, kidnapped people how to read and write. This varied by the state, by the colonies, but this was used widely as control, because if they can ban you reading, or they could ban knowledge, now they can use this as a way to send you to prison. They could use this as a way to whoop you. They could use this as a way to give you a fine. They could use this as a way to do anything they want with you, because they banned it. They basically put a ban on our brain. Man, how y'all gonna try to ban our brain from thinking? Come on, man. They put a ban, restrictions on schooling, libraries, and education access. A mental cage. Facts. They put a ban on all of that. Teaching, reading, writing. They put a ban on knowledge. That's number one. That's the number one ban. The second ban they use, they put a ban on movement. Now I want y'all to think, damn, if I was this person back then, if I was my ancestors and they had a ban on knowledge, what? We looking at you stupid. They're looking at them stupid like, what? And the people, and our ancestors probably like somewhere in the park reading, and you got this man coming up and, hey, you got a book? Oh, you're like, what? Anywho, they put a ban on movement. They had a pass system where you had to have a pass to move. You had curfews and vagrancy laws. So first of all, you couldn't be homeless. That was illegal. The ban was a thorn on Jesus' head. Listen. So yeah, you had to have a pass to travel. So if the police caught you out now, then you had to have your pass. Kind of like now, hey, where's your driver's license? They called that freedom paperwork back then. And this started in Barbados. When they was down there torturing those people, they had to have a freedom paperwork. And the freedom paperwork, guess where you got the freedom paperwork from? Their court system. What? So you gonna harass me and tell me I don't have a freedom paperwork, and the way that I get it is by going to your judge to get it. And if I don't go, I'm gonna go to jail because I don't have a freedom paperwork. What? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. You telling me I'm gonna go to jail if I'm out at 11 o'clock at night? This is why I am in my hometown, Tallahassee, the Appalachian Indians, Appalachian Parkway, Appalachian Elementary, all of that. You know, this is why they have night patrol still. If you go to Tallahassee and you riding around, I guarantee you, if you look suspicious and you're melanated, you're going to get stopped. It's called night patrol. It never ended. Those curfews never ended. That same paperwork they're using against immigrants. Facts. Well, they the immigrants too, so, you know, this is the paperwork that they made up. They had a ban on traveling. You had travel restrictions, and they had patrol checkpoints. So that patrol checkpoints, when you see people lining up for checkpoints, this started back then, but imagine it, all the cops doing checkpoints. Just so they could find melanated people and see if they got their new freedom paperwork, and if they didn't, lock them up, and they out so late, you couldn't be out late. They was trying to control every part of us, y'all. They had a ban on assembly. They banned and put restrictions on gathering, meetings, organizing. They had a ban on unauthorized spiritual ceremonies and communal practices in many places. Now listen to that again. They had a ban on unauthorized spiritual ceremonies, right? So if you was trying to have, say you was touched by the spirit, you started you a church, there was a ban on that. If it wasn't a YT slave patrol there, you couldn't do that. They had to be in the meeting, see what you was talking about, and to make sure you only talk about the Bible. Right? That's why so many of us addicted to the Bible now, because it was the only thing they allowed our ancestors to read. Can't you see? They put a ban on culture. People be like, oh, where's your culture? I'm so tired of hearing that shit. You see our culture with the music, with the dance, with the sports, with the art, with the poems, with the writing, with the inventions. You see our culture. This is another way to You call that gaslighting people. You try to gaslight us. You want to ban our culture, then be like, where is your culture? You don't remember when your ancestors banned it and we still made black out of something? Y'all try to erase us by calling us black and giving us a name outside of our sovereignty, outside of our, true Amerindian heritage, and say, okay, we're going to ban your culture, and then act like you don't know what you did and say, well, where's your culture? Where's y'all culture at? Where your culture at? Where your feathers at? They banned it. So if you got them on, you ain't the real one. If you able to wear your stuff right now, you're not the real one. For the real Niji, they understand what it means when they got that melanin with them feathers on. It's an image that you don't want to see. That's how the New World Order probably is. Yeah, they banned our culture. They put a now this is where it gets crazy. I think y'all about to die TikTok. Y'all ain't keeping me on point. Y'all about to get left out. If it dies, I just put it on the charge. But if it dies, you gotta follow me on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook. I'm live all of those places, even Kick right now. So ban on culture mean they put a ban on drums. They put a ban on songs. They put a ban on the language. They put a ban on cultural rituals. Especially when the ritual had something to do with unity or communication. They put bans on identity. Renaming people, banning indigenous languages in schools, and forcing assimilation policies. We got 2 more bans that they did. As if this wasn't enough. They put a ban on economic power. So when you go back and you see the Wall Street being, burned to the ground, all of these villages being burned to the ground because, they just couldn't have that. It's like, who told y'all to go and do that? People talking about war on your own land. Yeah, they already did that. You dropped the bomb on me, baby. You think that was just a groove? No, they telling you, dang, y'all dropped the on us. Wrong with you? They put a ban and restriction on property ownership. So y'all took the land, and then you put a ban on us owning the land. They put a ban on business ownership. Come on now. And you wonder why you don't have that entrepreneur spirit. You wonder why they don't teach business in school. They got a ban on it. They got a ban on educating your kids. They got a ban on teaching them economic power. It's a ban on it. But they never unbanned corporal punishment. I learned this week, dang, they never put a ban federally or on the state. It's still legal to whoop kids in school. Look it up for yourself. Florida, Georgia, and I think Mississippi, one of the other ones, is still legal. They might not do it because they ain't crazy, but that is still legal. They ain't outlawed it yet. Corporal punishment. Still legal. And you wonder why when you go to the hood, why you don't see any melanated business owners. Because they had it banned for so long. Now they won't give you loans. They try to make it so hard. They want to take you through the ringer. But an immigrant could come over here and 2 weeks later, they got a business selling you pizza. They got a business selling you gas. They got a whole convenience store in your neighborhood. They got a whole nail shop. They got everything. You're like, well, damn. Why don't we? Because they banned it. They banned fair wages because they want you work for nothing. Hey, you paying them? We banned you paying them. They put a ban on union participation, depending on the era. What else about economic power? Redlining, discriminatory lending, exclusion from wealth building programs. It's all meant to break your spirit, guys. Remember at the beginning, it was all a war on literacy. Anything that had to do with your brain thinking, they basically banned your brain. They wanted you to sit, I guess, in the shackle and just work all day, and they really wanted you to be like how they building the robots now. Y'all should have had them back then, cause y'all got my ancestors all the way up. Y'all got my ancestors all the way Stop! I'm happy y'all got y'all some AI robots, so maybe you can go and work them like crazy. But guess what? These things might, yeah, they ain't falling for it. Y'all need to be careful with this AI, because AI know who we are too. Y'all try to colonize AI, but we on AI ass. I be on my AI. Hey, AI! Don't be calling me black, AI. And I still have to deal with that title going through this transition where people really don't know. They see you, they automatically think black. They just all, But it's just like we gotta stop. Words mean everything. And the last thing is they put a ban on self-defense and autonomy. Self-defense, they put a ban on you defending yourself. So put it like this, and this is a real life example. So I know someone, a family member, and I told this story a little bit last week, and this person was a stand-up student, straight A's, B's, very intelligent, had a bright future. It's funny because that future was eliminated in Florida. As soon as they hit 18, they found a way to harass them. Of course, you gonna get stopped by the cops in the tally when you a melanated young man, right? But then they would put ban on you defending yourself, and them not, when they was doing the slave raiding, and they had, they didn't write it down, but they knew that they was going out and KID-napping people, and you seen Get Out, the beginning of the movie Get Out, how they KID-napped that guy, and he didn't even know he was KID-napped, and then he ended up on the plantation, and he didn't even know he was kidnapped. They had posters up he was missing. He didn't even know. So what they did was they created laws to ban self-defense back then. What they realized that they called it drapetomania, when the people who they was supposed to be KID-napped and didn't want to stay and follow all these bans, and they tried to run away. They called that drapetomania, and they made a law against that. What they call that? Fleeing and eluding. What? So you'll get young kids like the one I'm talking about who get scared. They not running because they're a bad person. They running because, oh my God, it's just like when you get to be a black male. I can't imagine being 18. You ain't the kid no more, so you don't have that protection. Now you got to, watch out for the cops, and then they, it's just too much. And then the first time, they gonna give that person a felony. Straight A student, man. Now this person feel like, damn. So that's what I mean. They put a ban on you defending yourself. They can do anything they want to you. They can unalive you. They can seize your land. But if you try to do it back, they put a ban on it. They have laws designed to criminalize self-protection for us. Criminalization of being out of place, too loud, too proud, too free. Yeah. Right? And guys, notice how these bans were not random. They were targeting your memory. They're targeting your mobility. They're targeting your money. They're targeting everything you mean. What is America truly free from? Shit. They messed this country up. They messed this world up with colonization. That's why I say YT, our supreme YT has failed. You failed because you thought that evil was going to grow into something great. You failed because you tried to make hate a law. You failed because you tried to make genocide, homicide, democide legal. That's why you failed. And you still can't see the error of your ways today, because you still got little students, melanated young men, crossing the stage at graduation, going from the school to prison pipeline. Still right now, it's a young man right now being harassed by one of these evil ass bird brains. And then they're going to go in front of a judge who see only color. They don't care about no background with the story. And they're going to only say, hey, I got a quota to meet for the prison. Somebody's son, somebody's daughter getting harassed right now off of these old ass slave raiding laws. It's like this. About 40% of the people in there is innocent. Facts. They're innocent because they got locked up for laws that that shouldn't even be laws. That's the point. They're going to make a law that shouldn't be a law, so it's easy to target you. That's why Florida will be one of the last places to legalize marijuana. Even if it's legal everywhere else, Trump did this. That's the only way they can really keep harassing people, and especially the young men in Florida, if they keep it illegal, right? Now in New York, you come to New York, you see people in New York City walking in front of the cars. They got the joint. It's different. It's a whole nother language. But when you go to the South, it is not like that. Right? And they do those bans on things like marijuana, but they won't ban cigarettes. You get what I'm saying? Because they know, back then they had was tobacco Indians. We was growing all these crops. They must have saw that our people was really loving it, and they said, just ban it. If it's anything they love, ban it. If they love knowledge and reading, ban it. If they love writing, ban it. If they like to invent stuff, ban it. They want to have a business, ban it. Ban it. Get the fuck out of here, man. If I could ban evil, I would. Right. So, like I said, the bans weren't random. They were targeting our memory, our mobility, our money, and our meaning, everything we stand for. Because if you can't gather, if you can't learn, you can't move, you can't build, you can't resist. And all of these generational curses that they have been perpetuating, they suddenly getting broken. You have more people saying, you know what, I can run a damn business. You got me saying, even though today it was hard as hell for me from an entrepreneur mindset, because I felt defeated. I felt like, dang, I can't do this. But then I had to remember my ancestors. I had to remember my ancestors couldn't do this. They couldn't be a dentist. They couldn't wake up and say, you know what? I have a dental practice. Shit was banned for them, man. It was banned. It's just sad, man. It's really sad. So I have to be very grateful. Even if I have hard days, man, I have to be very grateful for the people who came before me, for the ancestors who came before me, who had to go through all these bans, a ban on life. I couldn't imagine somebody telling me, Dr. Sean, you can't read. They banned you from reading. What am I going to do? They banned your dreams. They banned you. You can't even go outside. It's dark outside. You can't go outside. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be very grateful and realize that white supremacy has no choice but to fail. It has no choice but to be, eliminated. It doesn't have a bright future. It ain't no way to make something great that was never great. That's why you got a lot of people talking about make it MAGA. Shut the hell up. If you think anything I just said was great, then we just already know what kind of DNA you got. That's just beast mentality. Beast mentality. Still in certain places, they're only allowed to grow so much or have so many animals. Control, right? Just beast mentality. You know what they banned? They banned all our tools of freedom. If it was a tool that we used to have, to be successful, to till our land, to do whatever with our family, they wanted to ban. They even banned you from being in a group with your tribe. You gotta know that's some scary shit, boy. You know what? If they're in a tribe, just ban it. But guys, we're not gonna leave this on a sad note. They ban you from being yourself. They ban you. They just ban everything. That's why they ban books. They still on the shit. They still with it. But we here to clock that T. This is the grand awakening. When the spell breaks. When you get people like Dr. Sean going from where? Hood to hooded. When you got people like Dr. Sean breaking those chains and didn't even know that I had these chains to break. You got people like Dr. Sean coming out saying, you know what, motherfucker? You put every stereotype on me. I ain't have my mama. She was gone at 8 years old. Y'all locked my daddy up more than one time so he couldn't be there. But guess what? I still made it. I'm my ancestors' what? Wildest dreams. Their wildest dreams. So today I need you to be our ancestors' wildest dreams. I need you to read because guess what? You ain't banned for reading no more. I need you to write and create, because guess what? You're not banned from writing no more. They could try to hold your business down, make you scared. Still take that risk. Because guess what? 100, 200 years ago, that opportunity was very, very difficult. Just to breathe, just to think. I can't imagine going through that right now. Even though still those remnants of it still exist, we still breaking the spell. The curse is falling. When you got somebody like me from the Southeast who been reclassified, who realized I was reclassified, who made it through a doctoral program, without all the legacy, without all that, you can do anything. I'm here to tell you, you can do anything, but you gotta wake up first. If you don't do nothing else in this life, the biggest empowering thing you can do for yourself is say, you know what, Dr. Sean, I might have been bamboozled. Something you said stuck. I'm gonna go do my research. I'm going to go figure out what you're talking about. And I guarantee you, once you open that colonizer's playbook, you know, all those tools that they try to ban from you, that you realize you got access to, it's going to change your life. Now, here's more reason why I say they failed. Because they were living, because we are living through our awakening. And I don't mean one church domination. I don't mean Christianity. I mean a human awakening. Not somebody forcing you to be in a religion and you being scared not to be in a religion because they done scared your whole tribe up. They got everybody scared. This is what an awakening looks like, guys. It's people questioning the history books. You can't be afraid of that. It's people tracing their lineage and their land, opening up ancestry and just actually doing the work. I'm not talking about getting a blood test, spit test, and no. They told you that's for entertainment only. I'm talking about actually doing the work and doing your genealogy. That's the biggest thing you can do for yourself. It's people studying law. It's people studying banking and the systems. It's people educating their children with financial literacy, setting them up to not fail, and it's passing down more than shoes and Jordans. It's passing down land. It's passing down, you know, trust funds. It's passing down life insurance policy. It's passing down more than just debt and allowing your mind to be caught up in a band from 200 years ago where you don't even want to read. You don't even want to write because you don't understand how important it is. Now they got it like, oh, we don't even have to ban it no more because they ain't going to read anyways. I know you thought you ate when you did that, trying to ban all our freedom tools. I know y'all think y'all ate, but you didn't. Awakening looks like people decolonizing wellness, their identity, and education, because it's all been colonized. If you think, well, no, it ain't been, it's all been colonized. It's people building community without a permission. You don't need nobody permission to do you, boo. Do you. That's the grand awakening. We don't need you to hey, if I want to have a business and go and be a dentist and be in here helping people, that's what I'm going to do. Ain't nobody can stop me. Right? It's people choosing spiritual protection over fear. We have been so caught up in a space of fear where we fear ourselves. They got us fearing our melanin. We don't even want melanin because we scared of that. We look, no, don't let these people trick you out of your spot. Don't let history and these whack ass, old ass founding fathers and they dumb ass mentality trick you out your spot. What else does an awakening look like? It's people refusing shame. You're going to have a lot of Native Americans come and try to say, oh, they try to say, listen, we passed the, like the first thing that you can do when you wake up to the truth is try to use insults. That's elementary type shit. We passed the insults. We need results. We need some documents. And if you're not me, then I don't need you to tell me how to do me. And if you ain't me and you a colonizer or you come from, you damn sure don't have no license anymore to tell me nothing. Because everything you wrote by my people was a lie. You was always trying to ban their brain. So why would I want to listen to you? You've been trying to ban our brain, ban us from thinking, ban us from that. Y'all trying to ban TikTok, ban books, ban this. Can y'all ban evil though? Can you ban evil though? Can we I need a consensus. Can we ban evil or nah? Can we or nah? They had generations to perfect their blueprint. But we still waking up. Right? Because guess what? Just like them Florida State Seminoles, even though they tried to change that mascot. Y'all see that mascot? They changed the mascot to this guy. Colonization at its finest. Change the mascot. You see that? They changed the mascot because they don't want you to know you them Appalachian Indians. They don't want you to know you the Choctaw, Algonquin, the Tupi, the Arawak, wherever you are, Cherokee, Muskogee, the Mohawk. It's so many of us. Wake up and know who you are. Because our spirit is undefeated. Just like them Seminoles, baby. Y'all try to whitewash it, colonize it, but we know we them Seminoles. We know that we them the Appalachian Indians. Our spirit does not need your permission to exist. Never did and never will. So if you feel like you need somebody's permission for you to exist, for you to step out on your dreams, for you to stop feeling like you colonized, got to work hard and do it, you don't need no permission to let your spirit run free. Take back all the things that they banned. They banned knowledge, you go get some knowledge. They banned you moving, I need you to travel more, see the world. They banned you gathering with your family, your tribe, I need y'all to get together a lot more than you do. They banned our culture, you already see we don't give a damn about that because everybody on the TikTok doing our dance. From Michael Jackson all the way back. Can't ban our culture, everybody copy our culture. But you try to ban it because you didn't want them to. So you thought that making us black was going to make us have this some type of culture that nobody want to follow. Now they follow our culture. They put a ban on economic power. I need you to go get that bag. And they put a ban on self-defense and autonomy. I need you to defend yourself. Don't go to court and act like, oh, no, I need you to defend yourself. I need you to have some autonomy about yourself. Everything they didn't ban, give back. Period. Get it back. Get it back. Okay? So as we end this live, I'm happy y'all stay in here and chatted with me. Thank you for tapping the hearts. If you are tapping the hearts, y'all know I tried to get to 1K. I don't know if I got 1K hearts today on TikTok. I cover my hearts up, but whatever you guys tap, I appreciate it. Thank y'all for coming through. I'm going to leave y'all with 3 questions. The first question is, where do you guys see the blueprint still operating today? And we talked about the blueprint of colonization. Where do you guys see it still operating today? Right? So Drewski just went viral for talking about the church. You have a good night. You too. Right? Where do you see the blueprint operating today? Number 2, what did your family survive that you're now understanding differently? And number 3, what's one thing you're reclaiming this year? Is it the language? Is it the land? Is it your health? Is it your education? Money? Is it peace? Is it a love for reading and writing? Big up yourself, queen. Thank you. What is it? So just think about that. And we're going to chat tomorrow. I have a video that we're going to go through. It's going to be talking about the educational system, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to get into that tomorrow. So make sure you follow, share, save. This is truth. It's not a trend. This is a compass for us to get in the right direction. Right? Right. And I'm hot as hell. I'm hot as hell, but yeah. And I'm out of here, guys. Remember, the paper cannot erase our spirits. It can only delay you. It cannot erase your spirit. It can only delay your progress. That's the only thing the paper has done. So that's why we started this off saying, you know, why Supreme YT has failed. It's failed because it's a bunch of BS. Alright? It's just a bunch of BS. And the more your spirit wakes up, the more you'll see that it's just a bunch of BS. And the more you'll feel like, you know, they just wanted you to have amnesia about who you are. So the more you wake up, and every time you tell somebody and they start to wake up and they start to go and do research, you done your job. So if I encourage you to think a little bit deeper, to be like, wait a minute, they banned all of that, but they didn't. You notice I never said they banned the Bible. They actually gave the Bible. So just think about these things just from a common sense standpoint versus like, oh no, I'm too holy. You know, that's how they want you to be, you know, so you don't listen, you don't wake up, you're obedient as fuck, right? So yeah. All right. Let me know if y'all have any questions in the chat, any last minute thoughts. And I know they be having my stuff shadow banned, but I don't give a fuck. Whatever. All right, guys. I'll holla.